Hey, my name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz, and I know you guys are probably thinking, what is going on with the trade tariffs? And here is a little bit of an update that's been happening since the last week, including a little bit of the past, including the present, and what's going on now. So first things first, everyone knows about the trade wars. If you don't, basically Trump decided to come out very strong with tariff trading in 2025 when he became president of the United States, and has decided to run tariffs on Canada, China, and Mexico as the big three.
With Canada, we lose $200 billion a year with Canada. That's because we allow them to make cars, we allow them to take lumber. We don't need their cars, we don't need their lumber, we don't need their food products because we make the same products right on the other side of the border. It's sort of crazy. So we've just allowed that, bad management has allowed it over the last 4 years in particular to.
Hours after President Trump's sweeping reciprocal tariffs went into effect, the president announced on social media a 90-day pause for trade partners except China. Stocks surged with the news even as the president hiked tariffs on Chinese imports, pushing them to 125% after Beijing raised its retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods to 84%. The president said he authorized the pause and moved tariffs back to an across-the-board 10% after hearing from more than 75 countries who want to negotiate trade deals.
Mostly because China is always our big enemy as an American, but also Canada and Mexico are our borders neighbors. So they are the countries right next to us on the border top and bottom. They got tariffed, including China, and this came into a huge debacle with Canada retaliating, Mexico kind of conceding, kind of agreeing.
I think you're going to remember today, it's going to be a free nation that we're dealing with. We're going to have a very free and beautiful nation. It's going to be Liberation Day in America, and it's going to be a day that hopefully you're going to look back in years to come and you're going to say, he was right. This has turned out to be one of the most important days in the history of our country. That's a 10. That's a good one. Yeah.
It's kind of been going back and forth, but it's kind of led into a whole thing where Trump decided to tariff the whole world. It looked like he was just targeting the EU, but then he just dropped a 10 to 25% tariff on the whole world. After that, countries decided to start trying to want to come talk to the table, like Malaysia and Vietnam. And this has led to Trump reducing more trade tariffs for about 90 days, pausing his attacks on other countries, you could say. And through that, he decided to leave more tariffs on China. This has gone from 35% to 37% to like 80%, into 125%, back into 145%. They are just going back and forth.
China warns the world, don't make deals with the US at its expense. In the latest escalation of the US-China trade war, Beijing has issued a powerful message to nations negotiating trade agreements with Washington. Amidst rising tariffs and an economic standoff, China firmly opposes any trade deals that come at its cost, declaring that appeasement will not bring peace.
At a certain point, we're in no rush. We're in no rush. You have to understand we're getting right now 25% on cars, 25% on steel, 25% on aluminum. We're getting a 10% baseline. We took that down just because it was, the appropriate thing to do until we decide what the number will be. And we're, taking in a lot of money. We're going to end up with a baseline of a substantial number, which we never got anything. The United States never got anything until I came along, and then I put very substantial tariffs on China, if you remember. And we took in hundreds of billions of dollars.
The relationship with President Xi, why not pick up the phone and call him and make a deal?
Oh, we're going to make a deal. We'll have a deal. I think we're going to make a very good deal with China.
Do you plan to reach out to him and call him?
I think that you will see we'll make a very good deal.
China and America just hate each other at this point when it comes to the tariff war. And the tariffs have literally hit over 100% of the total cost. Like, we're at 145% now. But today, it seems that Trump is deciding to come to amicable terms with China. Not exactly like in a written up document do we really know all the answers. But it seems that Trump has decided that he's going to lower the tariffs on China, which China would probably respectfully do onto America as well. And through that will probably lead to tariffs on China in America, but not at 125% or 145%.
Treasury Secretary Dustin suggested that with the tariff rates as high as they are now, it's effectively an embargo of trade between the United States and China. Do you see it that way?
That's true. 145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high. It got up to there. We were talking about fentanyl, where, various elements built it up to 145. No, it won't be anywhere near that high. It'll come down substantially, but it won't be zero. It used to be zero. We were just destroyed. China was taking us for a ride, and just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're going to be very good to China, have a great relationship with President Xi, but they would make billions and billions and billions of dollars a year, and they would build their military out of the United States and what they made, so that won't happen. But they're going to do very well, and I think they're going to be happy, and I think we're going to live together very happily and ideally work together. So I think it's going to work out very well. But no, it's at 145%. There will not be anywhere near that number.
Have you talked to Xi, sir?
It's amazing what they've done on the borders. Thank you for the question, because honestly, it's one of the great successes. We have virtually nobody coming in illegally. We do have people coming in legally because we want people to come in, but we have nobody coming in through the border virtually. We were having hundreds of thousands of people a month come in under Biden, and they came in from prisons, they came in from mental institutions, they came in from gangs in Venezuela and other countries all over the world, not just South America. They were emptying their prisons into the United States. Venezuela emptied its prisons out, but many countries emptied their prisons into the Congo, as an example, in Africa, emptied their prisons into the United States, and we're getting them out. And I hope we get cooperation from the courts, because, we have thousands of people that are ready to go out, and you can't have a trial for all of these people. It wasn't meant, the system wasn't meant, and we don't think there's anything that says that. Look, we are getting some very bad people, killers, murderers, drug dealers, really bad people, the mentally ill, the mentally insane. They emptied out insane asylums into our country. We're getting them out, and a judge can't say, no, you have to have a trial. The trial's going to take 2 years, and no, we're going to have a very dangerous country if we're not allowed to do what we're entitled to do. And I won an election based on the fact that we get them out, and we've done an amazing job. Look, we've stopped. Everybody admits, even the radical left, we have got the strongest border we've ever had, even stronger than what I had it for 4 years. We had a great border. We solved the problem, but it's a tad stronger, which is, I don't know if that's disappointing or not to me. I beat my own record. But I appreciate the question.
He's already said that there won't be no tariffs on China. It's just that tariffs will be lowered. So that's where we're at right now in 2025, April 23rd. The thing with why we're negotiating with China, I think, comes along with a lot of manufacturing that happens with Americans and whatnot still are being done outside of America. Like we have Boeing, the ones that make airplanes, and they obviously don't just do all their recordings or all their manufacturing in America. They get their parts from outside, in other countries, from imports and exports. And because it's cheaper, and that's why they do it, if we start tariffing everything that comes into America, which I don't have an issue with people actually getting tariffed, because it seems that everyone else tariffs American products. Which is why, for example, if you buy a car in America that costs $300,000, maybe buying it in Taiwan would cost about $700K because of imports and taxes. So it's not like just America's putting tariffs and this is like a new thing where we're the first ones to ever tariff another country. It's just more like Trump has been trying to get back tariffs, or tariffs that are more fair. And I don't know how you describe fair, but in general, isn't at a complete loss to America while supporting the other country. Obviously, if you're tariffing other countries, you're making more money as a country yourself, but it's when other countries start tariffing you that everything starts becoming like this. And so with all of that going on, what do you guys think? Did you guys think that China and America are actually going to come to amicable terms? Do you think this is all just a ploy to get China to loosen their agitation levels? Do you think that Trump is actually going to get screwed over really badly? I don't know. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the whole situation. And yeah, that's what's been going on recently. And it's kind of crazy to think that we're at a point right now where stuff like this does happen. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. And for me, and someone that's actually possibly getting a new job in wholesaling, it seems very interesting to talk about how recently with my interview and how everything's been going on, what we're talking about, that there's actually a lot of wholesalers in America that we don't need to actually physically have always Chinese products. There's actually companies in America that make stuff, sell stuff, and can make new things that aren't seen on the market in the cheapest quality side. But still, even with knowing this facts and knowing that we don't have to use China, it still makes sense to me that products and items to make these products in America come from China. So you can't just completely take China out of the picture. Once again, it's a new job for me and it would be very interesting for me to try it out. But I would have to let go of my current job right now, which as of this video, I am on my third week actually of working. And it's looking very grim. I'll talk about it when I make and post my second week update video on working as a manager at a Hispanic place without really speaking Spanish. Anyways, other than that, I've been trying. Life's been pretty all right, even with all the crazy tariffs and attacking that's been happening recently. I personally haven't been in any racist things that have been happening because of the tariffs on China and whatnot. There's kind of a thing where I get called Chino in my area, and people, will call me China in Spanish. But it's not like I've been attacked outright just because, I happen to be Chinese. I happen to speak Chinese, look Chinese, and I'm not the cause for the tariffs happening and the increase in pricing. But yeah, that's really about what's been going on recently. Once again, my name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz, and Trump recently has been tariffing with China, to recap, and it's been going from 25%, 10%, 40%, 80%, 95%, 125%, and even up to 145% with China and United States just boom, 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 coming back at each other. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is a good play, bad play for the future, short-term success, bad-term success? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Once again, my name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz. Thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day. Take care. Peace.